Hello students, and once again we are going to do Julius Caesar Act 4 Scene 3 Brutus's tent. Great. So the scene is in Brutus's tent, and I just want to show you exactly how Brutus's tent looks like so that you can relax and enjoy the scene. Right? Great. So we begin. You already know that Brutus has called for Cassius, and they are right now in a different place. They are not in Rome. They are in a place known as Sardis, and that is where Brutus's tent is, right? And now Brutus and Cassius basically there's some problem between them, and it's only when they come into the tent that they speak to each other about it openly. Cassius tells Brutus that you have wronged me doth appear in this. Now remember, they were the conspirators, and Cassius and Brutus and the other five of them had assassinated Julius Caesar, and then during Mark Antony's speech, you see, he had influenced the crowd in such a way that Brutus and Cassius had to leave. And because Brutus and Cassius had to leave, right, now they have to fight a war against Mark Antony, Lepidus, and Octavius. Because if they do not fight this war, then perhaps they'll be killed. So right now they've been preparing for the war, and there is some problem between Brutus and Cassius. Let's begin. That you have wronged me doth appear in this. Cassius says that because you have wronged me, it appears in this. He says, I want to prove that you have done wrong towards me, and that is why let it appear. Let me prove it to you in this. Appear means let me show it to you in this. You condemned and noted. That means you had punished and you have scolded a person known as Lucius Pella. He said, you have scolded and punished Lucius Pella for taking bribes here of Sardinians. See, they were right here in Sardis, and Brutus has blamed Lucius Pella for taking bribes. So he says, you had condemned and you had noted. Noted is, again, you had scolded Lucius Pella for taking bribes of the Sardinians. Wherein my letter praying on his side. He says, whereas I had written a letter to you. So Cassius says, I had written a letter to you recommending him, saying that don't say anything to him, because I knew he was slighted off. Slighted off means the man was not in his proper senses. He was not he had some mental issues, and that is why there was no use of scolding him or saying anything to him. And Cassius said, I wrote to you not to say anything to that man, yet you scolded him, yet you punished him. Brutus says, you wronged yourself to write in such a case. Brutus says that you have done the wrong thing by writing in such a case. He says you should not have written to recommend such a type of a person. In such a time, it is not. And Cassius says at this time, it is not meet. Meet means right. That every offense should bear his comment. He says it is not right that every small, nice means small, okay? The word nice over here, it simply means a small offense. Every nice offense should bear his comment. Should bear his comment means should bear your comments. That means you should be consulted about it. He said, I don't think it's very important that every small thing we should talk about. And when he says this, Brutus says, let me tell you, Cassius, you yourself are much condemned to have an itching palm. Brutus says, see, Cassius, you yourself are condemned. Condemned means you yourself are guilty. Condemned is guilty of having an itching palm. The meaning of the word itching palm is, got it? He says, you yourself have an itching palm. And what does this meaning of the word itching palm basically means? He says, you have an itching palm. That means you also take bribe. To sell and mart your, he says you sell and exchange your offices. Offices means the positions in your army. Offices means positions in your army for gold in exchange of money to undeserved, and you're giving it to people who don't even deserve it. He says you should be careful because you're giving it to people who don't deserve it. Now Cassius gets very angry. He says, you think I'm a person who has an itching palm? That means I'm the person who's taking bribes. You know that you're Brutus that can speak this. He says, only because you're Brutus, you can speak it. Or by the gods. He says, taking an oath. This speech were your last. That means I would have killed you. The name of Cassius honors this corruption. He says, Cassius, you are responsible for this corruption. Honors means you are guilty of this corruption. And chastisement. Chastisement basically means over here, the word chastisement, it means that punishment does therefore hide his head. He says, and because you're afraid of punishment, you are trying to hide your head. That means you're trying to find an excuse. Chastisement. Cassius is so angry. He says, you're saying chastisement, that means are you going to punish me? Brutus says, remember the Ides of March, remember. Now Brutus is telling him, remember the 15th of March. Okay. On the 15th of March, he says, remember the 15th of March. He says, you remember that day? Did not great Julius breed for justice sake? He says, we killed Julius Caesar only because we wanted justice. Got it? We felt that Julius Caesar was not just and therefore we killed him. What villain touched his body? He says, what villain touched his body means, were we villains that touched his body, that did stab and not for justice? He says, we were not villains and we did not stab him for, got it, for justice. He says again, so please read this in the opposite way. He says, what villain touched his body? That means we were not villains who touched his body, that stabbed him, that killed him, and not for justice. He says, and we did everything because of justice. What shall one of us that struck the foremost man of all this world? He said, should one of us means you, Cassius, that struck means that killed the foremost man is the most powerful man over here. He said that killed the foremost is the most powerful man of the earth, of the world, because he supported robbers. So he says, we killed Julius Caesar, although he was the greatest man on the earth, because he supported robbers. Shall we now contaminate our hands, fingers? He says, shall we now pollute? Contaminate means pollute our fingers by taking ordinary bribes. He says, got it? Base bribe is ordinary bribes. And sell and mart. He says, you want us to sell the mighty space of our large honors. He says, do you want us to sell the great space of our honors? The great space of our honors basically means everything that we have achieved, all the respect that we've achieved, the great respect and honor that we've received for so much thrash. He says, for something so useless, so much thrashes for something so much useless that may be grasped. Grasp means that we can get. Got it? That we can get. So he says, this is not right. He says, we are not those kind of people who are going to sell our dignity, sell our respect for the amount of money we can get. I'd rather be a dog. He says, Brutus says, I'd rather be a dog. This, the figure of speech, of course, is metaphor. Okay. So Brutus says, I'd rather be a dog and bay the moon. Bay the moon means and shout at the moon. 1 minute. Hello. Yes. Namaste. नहीं 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 जी, thank you. I'd rather be, got it? He says, I'd rather be a dog and bay at the moon. Bay at the moon means look at the moon and bark than such a Roman. Now, a dog that would look at the moon and bark was basically known as mad. He says, I'd rather be a mad dog, got it? A mad dog than to be such a Roman. Okay? A dog that would look at the moon and bay at it. Bay means look at the moon and shout, bark at it. Brutus, bay me, not me. Now see, the word bay over here there means bark, but over here Cassius says, Brutus, do not bay me. Bay me means surround me, trap me. Okay, so the meaning of the word bay over here is trap. He says, do not trap me. I'll not endure it. Endure means I'm not going to tolerate you. You forget yourself. He says, you're forgetting who you are to hedge me in. To hedge me in means to, to question me. To hedge me in is to question me. It also means to trap me. I'm a soldier, older in practice, able than yourself. He says, I'm a soldier. I'm much older than you in experience and better than you. Able means better than yourself to make conditions. That means uh, to make conditions. And over here, the word conditions over here is, he says, and I'm better than you to make conditions. That means to give a challenge. So a person who needs to make a challenge is me, not you, right? Because I'm better than you and I'm stronger than you. Go to, you are not Cassius. Brutus says, you are nothing in front of me. Cassius says, I am. I say you are not. Brutus says, urge me no more. Cassius says, please do not provoke me. Urge me means do not provoke me. Do not make me more angry. I shall forget myself. I will forget who I am. Have mind upon your health. He says, be careful about your own health and tempt me no further. And do not anger me. Tempt means do not anger me. Do not provoke me anymore. Do not tempt me. Do not provoke me any further. Away, slight fellow. But Brutus says, get out, you slight fellow. Slight fellow means madman. Got it? And Brutus says, away, you slight. Slight is a madman. Cassius says, is it possible? What is possible? He says, is it possible that Brutus can call me a madman? He says, hear me, for I speak. Brutus says, listen to me, because I'm speaking. Must I give way and room to your rash choler? He says, do you want me to tolerate? Give way and room. Way and room means tolerate. Do you want me to tolerate your rash cholera? Got it? Your bad temper. Rash cholera is your bad temper. Shall I be frightened when a madman stares? He says, do you want me to be afraid when a madman, who's he calling a madman? Cassius, stares. Cassius is so angry. He says, oh ye gods, must I endure? Endure is tolerate all this. He says, oh gods, do you want me to tolerate all this kind of language? All this are more. He says, not only this, even more. Fret till your proud heart breaks. He says, fret. Fret means be as angry as you want till your heart breaks. Got it? Till your proud heart will break. He says, I don't care. Go show your slaves how choleric you are. He says, if you want to show your anger, go and show it to your slaves. Choleric means anger. And make your bondmen tremble. He says, make your bondmen, again is the word slaves, tremble. Must I budge? He says, you think I'm going to budge? Budge means move. Must I observe? He says, do you want me to look at you with fear? Must I stand and crouch? Do you want me to stand and bend? Bend is crouch. Upon your testy humor, just because you have a bad temper? Oh, by the gods, you shall digest the venom of your spleen. Now he says, an oath on the gods, you will digest the venom of your spleen. So basically, they found that anger would be in the spleen. And when a person was angry, this spleen will give out venom. Venom is poison. Got? So he says you will have to digest the poison that comes from your spleen, because I'm not going to tolerate your anger. Though it do split you. Split you means although it kills you. From this day forth, I'll use you for my mirth. He said, from now onwards, I will use you for my mirth. Mirth means for my humor, as a joker. Correct? For my mirth. Yeah, for my laughter. When you are whoppish. He says, especially when you are whoppish. Whoppish means in a bad temper. Got it? Or you are angry. Is it come to this? And Cassius says, is it come to this? You say you are a better soldier, let it appear so. So Cassius says, You said you're a better soldier, let it appear so. Sorry. Cassius says, is it come to this? Brutus says, you say you are a better soldier, let it appear so. He says, let me please prove it. Make your vaulting true. He says, let us see your vaulting is your boasting. Make your boasting true. He says, you want to boast, you want to fight with me, fight. And it shall please me well. He says, and I will be happy for mine own part. He says, for my own part, I shall be glad to learn of noble men. He says, I want to know how noble you are. I want to know how powerful men like you, how noble you are. Cassius says, you wrong me in every way. He says, you're doing incorrect with me. Whatever you're doing is not right with me. You wrong me, Brutus. I said an elder soldier, not a better. He says, I only told you that I'm older to you. I'm elder to you, not better. Did I say better? Brutus says, if you did, I cannot. He says, even if you did, I cannot. When Cassius lived, he does not have moved me thus. Sorry, Cassius says, when Caesar was alive, he would never have provoked me in this manner. Brutus, peace, peace, you does not so have tempted him. He says, please silent. Peace means just be quiet, silent. You does not means you would not. Tempt him means make him so angry. Got it? You would never be able to speak to him like this. I does not. He says, you think I cannot? No. What does not tempt him? He says, who would not be able to tempt Caesar? Who would not be able to tempt Caesar? For your life you does not. He says, you would be afraid of your life. You would never speak to Caesar in this manner. Do not presume too much upon my love. I may do what I shall be sorry for. So Cassius says, please do not take me for granted. Presume means do not uh, take me for granted. Don't think that I will not do anything. I may do that. I shall be sorry for. He says, what I do, I may be sorry for it. That means I may kill you and later on repent about it. He says, I can kill you and later on later on repent for it. You have done that, you should be sorry for. Brutus says, what you have done, you should be sorry for that. What is he talking about? He's talking about taking bribes. Right? So he says, Cassius says, do not presume. That means do not take my love, my friendship for granted. I may do that, I'll be sorry for. He says, I can do things for which I may be sorry. That means I could kill you also. Brutus says, you have done that, you should be sorry. He says, what you've already done, you should be sorry about it. That means you've taken bribe. There is no terror in Cassius in your threats. So anyway, all the best for today, and we'll continue Act 4, Scene 3 in the next video. God bless you and have a nice day. Thank you.